Let's get ready, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just click. Okay, got it.
Okay, let's call this Andover City Council meeting of April 30th to order, please. I'll start off with roll call to my left.
Brian Schwan, council member. Sorry.
Caroline Hale. Caroline Hale, council member.
Troy Tabor, council member.
Ben Lawrence, Mayor.
Clark C.R. Nelson, council member.
Rick Schneider, council member.
Mike Warrington, council member.
Mike Keller, police chief.
Donna Davis, Chief Financial Officer.
Chad Russell, fire chief.
Jennifer McCausland, Assistant City Administrator.
J.T. Klaus, city attorney.
Les Mangus, Director, Public Works.
Paula Babb, Deputy City Clerk.
Mark Detter, City Administrator.
All right, item number 3 is the invocation. We have Pastor Kyle Cockemeyer here from Journey Church. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Let's pray. God of grace and mercy, we thank you that you are here among us and you are at work, and we thank you for that. And so we lift up this time to you. We pray for edifying and wise conversations as we seek to do the work of the city here. And so, Lord, we pray your blessing on us as we continue to seek you through this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You would stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to item number 5, which is the public forum. Is anyone here that wishes to address the council? Anyone at all? Nobody wants to speak? Seeing none, I will close the public forum and move on to the acceptance of the agenda. Don't see anything additional this evening, is that correct?
No, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion by CR, second by Mike to accept the agenda as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, we have an award this evening.
Mr. Mayor and Council. I'd first like to call up a few people and have them come up here. I'd like to have Officer Tia Smith, and then Paige Volkman, and Reagan Volkman, and Mia Shield. They left their flowers at their... You just want to come right here and stand, right here with us. Okay, Mayor and Council, I first want to tell you that there are no surprises tonight. Everyone here knows why they're here. On the evening of March 6th, Candace Parsons was traveling on Highway 54 eastbound through Andover. In the vehicle with her were her granddaughters, Paige Volkman, who was seated in the front passenger seat, and Reagan Volkman, who was in the rear seat with a friend, Mia Shield. As Miss Parsons was driving near Onewood, she began to feel ill and started to slow the vehicle when she suddenly suffered a massive heart attack, which immediately rendered her unconscious. The car was still driving eastbound and entered the center median and began to enter the westbound lanes of Highway 54 with oncoming traffic. Ms. Shield, from the back seat, yelled for Paige to steer the car from the traffic. Paige was able to steer the vehicle out of the oncoming traffic and into a field located just north of Highway 54, narrowly missing a power pole. Then Reagan Volkman was able to instruct Paige to put the gear shifter into neutral, which immediately caused the vehicle to slow and eventually safely come to a stop in the field. Reagan and Mia were able to use their cell phones to call their parents and then called 911 to get help for Mrs. Parsons. When Andover Police Officer Tia Smith, who was the first one to arrive on scene, found Ms. Parsons in full cardiac arrest, MPO Smith pulled Ms. Parsons from the vehicle and initiated CPR, and continued to perform CPR until she was relieved by Andover Fire and EMS. I'm trying to keep my place here. Ms. Parsons, who was transported to the hospital, Ms. Parsons survived that episode despite the odds of a survival being very low, and is in the audience with us today. Ms. Parsons. That survival was the direct result of Officer Tia Smith's quick actions and life-saving skills, along with the calm and immediate actions taken by these three young ladies that are here with me this evening in the face of danger. Their combined efforts to take control of a runaway vehicle prevented a catastrophe, a head-on collision, and enabled them to safely get the vehicle off the roadway. Then their continued efforts to call for help brought the help needed in a timely manner, allowing the rescuers the ability to perform their life-saving measures. With that said, it is my honor to present Officer Tia Smith with the Police Department's Life-Saving Award for an act or acts that directly contributed to the saving or significantly prolonging of a human life. Tia. It is also my honor to present Mia Shields, Paige Volkman, and Reagan Volkman with the Police Department's Citizen Commendation, an award awarded to an individual that goes above and beyond in rendering service to the citizens of Andover in the interest of furthering law enforcement or improving the community's quality of life. Young ladies. I have four young ladies up here. I think I'm going to turn the mic over to them, if anyone wants to say anything.
She's out. Hey, girls, you're gonna run, all right. You wanna say anything? No? I'll take a moment and say that the actions from these three ladies that night was absolutely amazing for their age. I arrived on that scene and those girls, they had it. They had that car in a safe spot and they barely missed that pole. And for them to be able to do that, to take those actions and stay that calm was outstanding. So I'm honored to stand up here with these three girls and receive these awards tonight. So thank you so much.
Have to add that one to the Officer of the Year, right?
Yeah, it's like her third time here. You know, they talk about employees that some, like 20% of your employees spend 80% of your time. T is one of those 20%ers. In a very good way.
All right, we will move on to some proclamations here. I would like to first start off with welcoming members of ARDI with us this evening. May has been officially declared as Bike Month. If it ever stops raining, everybody can get out there and do that. And I believe Ms. Kim Austin is here with ARDI. I'd like her to introduce herself to you all, new incoming president. For those of you who haven't met her, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Kim Austin, president of the Andover Augusta Rail to Trail Initiative, ARDI, and I appreciate the opportunity for the proclamation.
Not a problem. I just I want you to know that what you're doing with the trail is much appreciated. ARDI has always been a strong supporter of healthy, economical, and convenient bicycling, and have taken a lot of steps towards helping us keep and improve that path there that a lot of people are coming to enjoy. So I have this proclamation for you. Hang on a second. I want to present this to you and again congratulate you on your efforts and works for what you're doing there. And again, May, National Bike Month. I think you have some T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
As a token of our appreciation for the partnership with the City of Andover and the Proclamation for Bike Month, we'd like to present these T-shirts.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for your
Continued good luck to you. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
That's right.
As a token of our partnership and our appreciation for the Proclamation for Bike Month and your support of ARDI, please accept the T-shirts as our thank you to you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
again. All right, second proclamation this evening is Municipal Clerks Week. Incredibly ironically and not coincidentally, our city clerk is out ill this week, but I'd like to proclaim May 5th through the 11th Municipal Courts Week. We all know that, and I'm no disparaging to our deputy city clerk there, Ms. Paula Babbs. So they have a lot of responsibility within the city. A lot of people don't understand the amount of effort that goes into that position. There are just enormous mounds of paperwork and record keeping that goes through that office, in addition to all the other duties that they fulfill that are really not in their job description sometimes. So again, May 5th through 11th is Municipal Courts Week. And not to be outdone, we have Public Service Recognition Week, also May 5th through the 11th. You know, a lot of times our our public employees don't get the credit they properly deserve. We know everybody here does a fantastic job, shows up to work doing some of the things that none of us would ever consider doing. Sewers department is something that comes to mind. But there are a lot of public service, firefighters, police, even the military is included in this. So teachers, nurses, and all of the employees here, they do a fantastic job. So Public Service Recognition Week is May 5th through the 11th. If you see one of them, tell them thanks. All right, we'll move on to item number 10. You have more presentations, Chief? Did he leave?
It's a duplicate.
Yeah, it's
Item 10.
it's listed twice on mine.
Lois.
So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is items 10.1 through 10.7.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Troy and a second by Brian to approve the consent agenda as presented. Further comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, you have a new resolution here establishing the dates and times for permitted sales and permitted discharge of fireworks within the city of Andover. Anybody like to add anything?
Typically, the city clerk talks about this, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think everybody on here is pretty familiar with our practices with fireworks and the sale and discharge of them. The only thing I notice, which I think is typical, is we're not going past 11 o'clock in the allowance of discharge on any given night, and I think there's a few nights it's 10 o'clock. But Mr. Mayor, you're as familiar with this as I am, so any comments you have is...
I think it's fair. I mean, in the old days, we used to let them go till midnight. That's usually not a big deal if it's on a Friday or Saturday night, but you know, on a weeknight, discharge becomes a little burdensome to those with shy pets and some people. But I think what we have listed here is within the realm of good and should be approved.
Mr. Mayor?
Caroline.
I would agree with your previous comments, but I was a little confused on this, and just if I'm telling people, I want to make sure I'm telling them right. The second page is really what we did last year, I presume. Is someone that's familiar with this? All right. So this year we're saying that they can go to the sports park starting at 5 p.m. and not the 10. And so it's always 5 p.m. till whatever that evening shuts down at, correct? Okay. So in a previous year, it says, I think they were starting at 6 p.m. or something. So we're moving it back to 5 p.m. probably because we're making them stop an hour earlier or something. Okay.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to adopt a resolution outlining the days and the dates and times for the sale and discharge of fireworks inside the city limits of the city of Andover.
Second.
All right, motion by Greg, CR, and a second by Greg to approve the resolution as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, we have before us a temporary zoning permit.
Mr. Smalling's here asking for temporary use to operate the farmer's market again up at the shopping center. This year he's asking to have it more open-ended so that he can pick and choose nights throughout the summer because there has gotten to be some competition that show up and it's hard to get those in the market out on different nights. So this request gives him a little more flexibility rather than tying him down to one night per week.
Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approval of applicant's request for temporary use authorization to allow a farmer's market in the parking lot at 620 North Andover Road between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. from May 2nd, 8:30 p.m. from May 2nd through October 31st, 2019.
Second?
Motion by Greg and a second by CR to approve the temporary zoning permit request as presented. Further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 12.2.
The Chamber of Commerce is here asking for a temporary use authorization to hold a cornhole tournament out at the corner of Highway 54 and 159th Street, and I think as a part of this request, they should challenge the mayor to participate.
Well,
I'll second that motion.
unbeknownst to all of you, I have competed in a couple cornhole
Yeah.
tournaments, and I'm not that bad.
Yeah. He regularly abuses me. He is good.
So, yes, I have a question. When's the concert in June?
June 29th.
June 29th. So this is the weekend before. Who from the Becky? Can you come up here? Anybody?
I got you.
There you go.
Shane's the.
Shane,
Good evening.
have you thought about having this cornhole tournament in the amphitheater area? We discussed that as an idea that came up a year or so ago about having that out here, and maybe have some live music or some food trucks, or and this park actually does have its own cereal malt beverage license as well.
Okay.
Maybe too late to change it this year, but if you're going to make this a tradition, I would encourage you to use the park.
I mean, we've spoken to Jacob Marietti
Right.
about his property, and I mean, we can go back and talk to exec committee and the board with the chamber, but I don't see we're not any close ties right now, so
Well,
it probably
I'm
would be
just
soon enough
saying,
to change
it's,
it if that's what we wanted to do.
all your public facilities are here, and lighting wouldn't be that big a deal. And is this a fundraiser or just something fun to do?
It's a fundraiser for the chamber. It's
Right.
to help improve the chamber. Yep.
Right. I would encourage you to look at utilizing the park.
Okay.
It's nice grassy areas, public facilities, restrooms, and, something to think about anyway.
That'd be excellent. Yeah.
But I fully support this. I was hoping somebody would eventually bring a cornhole tournament here of sorts, so best of luck. Let's see what these guys say about it.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the applicant's request for temporary use authorization to allow the Andover Area Chamber of Commerce to hold a cornhole tournament at 1600 West Highway 54 from June 21st to the 22nd of this year.
Second it.
All right, motion by Troy and second by Mike to approve the request for the cornhole tournament.
I would just comment that if they decide they want to move it to the park, that location would also work under those two motion, or that motion and that second.
Well, they don't have to have a zoning change, though, to do it at the park.
Oh, they don't even need it for the park. Okay, so
Right.
they don't need, well, don't they still need to come to the council to use the park?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's approve it like they designed it and drew it up, and if there's some rethinking, you've got a couple weeks to reset it. So we have a motion by Troy and a second by Mike. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Where are your sign-up forms? They're going to be online?
Yeah, you can go onto the chamber website, or you can sign up at the Y. So we're utilizing both registration sides of it. So 2 teams, $40. Come out and just network and have fun.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Chief Russell said he'll challenge you too. So I don't know that part.
We'll be playing for your budget.
Better get a...
I pulled a
Better
hammy,
start
I'm sorry.
slashing it right
I'm
now.
out that day.
Item 13, we have an annexation ordinance in front of us now. This is concerning the right-of-way for Yorktown Parkway and US 54-400, I guess. Some roads.
So the first phase of the annexation, the unilateral annexation of this area was approved at your April 9th meeting and became became effective on April 20th. So the public streets that you see on the map depicted overhead were not included in that annexation process. So tonight is more or less, as far as annexations go, is a housekeeping action to ensure the city has the obligation, both the obligation and the right to maintain the streets. Included in your packet are resolutions from both Butler County and Bruno Township consenting to the annexation. And lastly, the Planning Commission at their April 16th meeting did unanimously recommend approval of the annexation. So tonight, an adoption and publishing of an ordinance will effectuate the annexation of this right-of-way. I'll stand for any questions you guys may have.
So you'd like us to handle this in two separate motions?
Yeah, so this first is going to be the adoption of an ordinance just for the right-of-way. The second will be a separate unilateral annexation proceeding.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to adopt an ordinance annexing the right-of-way generally located within the Bicentennial First Edition replat, Bicentennial Second Edition, French's First Edition, Schmidt First Edition, and other unplatted public streets as presented.
Second.
Motion by CR and a second by Caroline to adopt the ordinance as presented. Further discussion?
I have a question. There's two roads on here that aren't part of this, the Brown Road and a small little sliver of Archer. Why weren't those included in this phase?
So Brown Drive, and we'll put up the map of the next case, the unilateral annexation case. So although the county depicts Brown Drive as a public right-of-way, the title work that staff has completed shows that actually as a private access. So we're including the annexation of what you see as Brown Drive in there as in the unilateral annexation case. Okay. And then Archer, the kind of that southern run of Archer, adjacent to the former mobile home site, is currently within the city.
Okay.
Limits.
Okay.
If I could add there, Mike, there are some of the residents and even a potential buyer who are trying to clean up that title work on that, what's now a public access dedication, and make it a public street right away.
On Brown?
On Brown.
Okay, we have a motion by CR and a second by Caroline. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.2 is the resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to adopt a resolution indicating the intent of the governing body of the City of Andover, Kansas to annex certain land pursuant to KSA 12-520A1 and 12-520A6, and setting the public hearing for July 9, 2019 at 7 p.m. to be held at none other than the Andover City Hall.
Second.
Motion by CR and a second by Mike to approve the resolution as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14. We have before us a developers agreement.
Mr. Mayor, I think the council as well, developers of the Heritage Edition in a relationship to a tax increment financing district. This developers agreement sets the parameters that the city will pursue that tax increment financing district under, namely that we will offer up special assessments to the residential area and the north section of this property close to Douglas Avenue. We'll also ask this developer to put up a letter of credit in increments related to their phased improvement program, up to $3 million, which means if the tax increment falls short of the debt payments, we will issue that we can draw upon that letter of credit over a course of time up to $3 million. We have various other commitments in there related to infrastructure, what we're going to pursue in relationship to the TIF district. This process is going to be continuing. We are planning to come to you the next meeting with a ordinance creating the TIF district, also a resolution declaring the area blighted. The Planning Commission will have some review they have to do on this, so this is a considerable timeline to consider all this information. As we've mentioned before, the school district and the county have the veto authority over this, to where the TIF district could be vetoed by those two entities and not go forth. And that's about a 30-day time period. So I think everyone in the council is aware of how we've negotiated this. I would certainly invite the city attorney to make any other comments. Also, our developers with Heritage, Mr. Jones and Mr. Lease are here tonight. If you have any, or excuse me, Mr. Beal are here tonight if you have any questions.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the developers agreement for the Heritage Edition.
Second.
By CR, second by Troy, to approve the developers agreement as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, street sewer project.
We're here tonight to ask for the approval of the plans for the sewer project that would serve the new Meadowlark Elementary School and do some relocation work for the 159th Street improvements around the Kansas Turnpike Bridge. We have the plans ready, and we're just simply asking the approval of plans and the authority to solicit bids for the next meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the plans for the 159th Street Sewer Project on Central Avenue to 13th Street and authorize soliciting bids for consideration at the May 28th City Council meeting.
Second.
Motion by Caroline, a second by Brian, to approve the plans and authorize the soliciting of bids. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.
Steve Anderson, City Engineer. This is an agreement with Bothman Company to design and provide construction engineering for 3 required improvement projects for the Meadowlark Edition USD 385 at the southeast corner of 159th and 13th. The 2 of the projects are water lines under separate petitions. The third is a sanitary sewer that's part of the plans Les just presented to you. I might note that the plans are designed without engineering contract until now. It's pretty straightforward. The price is $122,000 and the motion is before you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the agreement with Bothman Company for engineering services related to water line and sanitary sewer improvements for the USD 385 Meadowlark School site in the not-to-exceed amount of $122,000 and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Motion by Greg, second by Caroline, to approve the agreement as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 17, we have a recycling and trash program update.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as per our contract with Waste Connections, it accounts for a CPI increase based on Consumer Price Index annually. It usually goes into effect in July 1. I have the rates in your packet, but basically the trash will go to $10.74 and recycling will go to $4.63. That is a overall, if you have both services, that's a 20-cent rate increase for every month, by the way, for monthly rates. As just a little history over the last 7 years, that's a 40-cent rate increase from the beginning till now over the last 7 years for the combination of the trash and recycling. Also in your packet is a letter that has probably already went out to the individuals, but Waste Connections is going to be discontinuing the recycling rewards program. They indicate there's less than a 4% participation in the new program they have, and they were just making a business decision to get rid of it. If you recall, when we originally entered into our program, Waste Connections was not the selected group, although when they came online, they brought their Recycle Banks program. And over years, that has morphed into another program, and the use has just gone down. I would say that Mr. West from Waste Connections is in the audience if you have any questions you would like to ask of them. If you have any other questions that you'd like to ask me, I stand for those questions also.
I would just add that as I read through this, very nice that they have said that this letter that'll come to everybody will explain that if anybody does have accumulation of points, that they can keep that and continue to use that until they've used all their points even beyond this May 31st date. Is that correct?
That is the way I read it. Is that correct? Yes.
I have a couple of comments. I'm certainly somewhat proud of having this program, being one of the few that, along with Caroline, of organizing this back in 2012. I happened to see on TV recently where I think it was Waste Management stating that their recycling efforts may end at some time in the near future because either lack of profitability or inability to relocate and so forth the recycling program. And I would not be shocked if we don't have to come back and revisit this issue in the near future. I think it's a wonderful program. I'm all in favor of what you're doing, but I think the recycling item appears to be a fairly large national item that we may or may not have locally. I just wanted to make that statement.
I would comment that I'm a member of the Butler County Solid Waste Committee, and there is a few of the regional or area cities and programs that are struggling very hard right now. We did meet with, correct me if I'm wrong, was that a regional vice president that was in? Division president. And I asked the question about the recycling program and the viability of it, and he made the comment that Waste Connections is committed to doing the right thing with recycling. Obviously, there's always the business decisions come into play with that. It's getting harder and harder to move certain recyclables right now. Hopefully that changes for them down the road, but right now it is a struggle.
Thank you.
Hey, Rick, really quickly, one more time. When can the people in Bicentennial call our provider and
They don't
get trash
call-
recycling service if they desire?
They don't call the provider. The recycle carts will
that's
go out
right.
tomorrow.
Call us.
Recycling carts go out tomorrow for phase 1 of the annexations. And they can call the city and get the preferred hauler trash rate and get onto that starting the 1st if they would like.
We let them know that in some way, I'm sure, right?
The recycling has been communicated with them, and actually the bills that went out already have that on there for them. The trash was in a lot of the publication or packets that was sent out to the residents and a lot of the other information, but I suspect that Waste Connections may reach out to those who have recycling but not trash and offer that service to them. But they would contact the city to sign up for it, because we handle the billing for that service.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, CR committee to establish that program, and I also recall that I vetoed that the first go around. But it's worked out. I think as our residents have enjoyed lower prices, even though stifling competition is never a good thing, it's fortunately worked out for us, so appreciate it. Move on to item 18, Andover Road Business Grant.
Mayor and council, we have gone through our third process of the Andover Road Business Grants, and I'm really happy to report that every year it has gotten more interest and more applications. The first year we got one, which, hey, we got one. The second year we got 3, and this year we received 6 applications, and they were all great applications. The committee included Mark, 2 chamber members, Michelle Reuter and Chris Myers, and then council members Schneider and Warrington. There was one application that was recommended to be awarded. However, when we went back and explained to the business owner that he would have to get a zoning change and go through a site plan process to do the parking lot he was interested in, which was going to add substantial cost to his parking lot project, he elected to withdraw his application. So before you tonight, it is recommended that we award Elevation Performance $1,000 for a building sign, Andover State Bank $5,000 for a new updated LED sign, Rested Rooster $7,000 to do their landscaping plan, which has already gone through the site plan process, and then Andover Group Investments $2,000 for additional signage. Be happy to take any questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion then to approve the recommendations of the 2019 Andover Road Grant Selection Committee as presented.
Second?
Motion by Troy, second by CR to award the 2019 Andover Road Business Grants as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 19, comprehensive compensation study.
This one's also mine, Mr. Mayor. At the end of the salary review process this year, Mark spoke to the members of that committee about the fact that we did come in, actually we had a decrease in our health insurance this year, so we budgeted for an increase, and then we actually came in with a 3% decrease. So we have some extra money in our benefits fund this year. So after our salary review process, we spoke to that committee about the desire to do a comprehensive compensation study by a third party that would go through and look at every single position in the city, look for comparables, not just on the title of the job, but actually go through and the job descriptions, because we have some very unique jobs that take one skill set over here and a skill set over here, and you might never expect that you would see those mashed into a job, but we found a way to do it, and we found some people that have those skills. So it makes it tough to do some of those comparisons for sure. We had a committee that met of staff, and we sent out the RFP, which you all approved in February. We had 4 responses to that RFP, and we chose 2 to interview, and we were quickly unanimous in selecting Gallagher as who we would like to recommend working with. They happened to come in at the low price point, but I will say that was kind of like a pleasant surprise at the end of the process when we went to look at who was quoting what cost, because we were really quite satisfied with the presentation that Gail Merriweather provided. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask a question. When's the last time that we did a similar study? Because I thought we had.
Not since I've been here. You haven't had a third party involved, and I started in 2010, so I don't know prior to that.
We've never had a third party.
A lot of that we try to do internally and
Yes.
have been as best we can, but this obviously will be a little more independent effort in that regard.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the agreement between the City of Andover and Gallagher for a comprehensive compensation study and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Motion by Caroline, second by Troy to approve the agreement as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Guess we're down to member items, huh? Brian, you want to start us off?
I don't have anything tonight.
I don't either.
Wow, Troy.
A couple quick things. Question for Les. Do we have a timing, and you've said it before, and I'm sorry I forgot, but of when the bike ped bridge over Highway 54 is currently slated to maybe get started?
As you know, WAMPO is in the process of updating their long-range transportation plan, so we'll have to go through that selection process again. But the project ranked very high in the existing long-range plan, and we'll go ahead and submit it. It's in 2 years with the next TIP, and should be funded at that time, barring any
I guess
mass
I
changes
thought
in
I had
direction.
seen it in maybe 2022. Yeah.
2022. Yeah.
But that's potentially going to change.
It could. We've always presumed that once a project gets in the long-range plan and it has a funding slot, that it will move into that slot. But with a new plan, I'm sure we will have to debate that position again.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And one quick thing with the chamber, I saw Shane ran out on us, I guess, but we have Becky and Jody here to represent. And obviously it's pretty awesome with the cornhole tournament that's going to happen. And hopefully it happens in the park. That was a great idea, Ben. And I hope to kick your butt at that, by the way. I would shout out to everybody here that we should all form some teams. It's 2-person teams. And look at his face. He's like, what?
I already have a partner, but thanks.
No, I didn't want to be your partner. I wanted to beat you and your partner.
Oh,
That's fine.
I don't. You could.
You don't need to.
Anything's possible.
Throw down a gauntlet. Okay, so and the last thing is I was at the ribbon cutting at Meadowlark, and it's a pretty large footprint. I think it's 80 acres, a little less than 80 acres, and which to me looks like it could house multiple schools. It's a pretty large area. But I was told that the CAPS program will eventually be a part of that as well, which is a pretty exciting program for Andover, a little more focused on a different method of education. And that's something that's already being looked at with 4 of our grade schools, where they're looking at modifying the curriculum and doing things a little different, which is exciting. In my opinion, I feel like the way that, and man, I hope I don't get smacked for this, but I feel that the way the education is set up now is probably going to have to change in order for us as a society to get better and move on with the times. And I'm liking what I'm seeing in Andover. They're doing a lot of work to make it happen, and it's pretty exciting to see it start to come to fruition. That's all I got.
CR.
No items.
No items.
Just have a comment of something for us to consider and possibly work with to see if this could possibly happen. We have GAD every year, and I would like to make a recommendation that we work with the school to see if we could have GAD on the same weekend as the Andover Central football game. That's every single person here in town on that Friday night. I know we usually have a Friday night event that I would suggest that we could do something on a Thursday with that instead of Friday, and do something smaller on Friday, and hopefully it would turn out to maybe people having their class reunions that weekend as well. Come back for a football game, have a class reunion, have a trailer or something in the parade on Saturday morning, and it's more around the entire town and just what we've been doing. So that's my suggestion.
Mike, believe it or not, that worked out one year. It's kind of the High School Athletic Association that sets those schedules, but it worked out one year that we did have the Andover game on Friday night, and we had the largest attendance of the tailgate party we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because we had Cox Television out here broadcasting live.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea for us, and even if we had to adjust our date by 1 week to accommodate if the school didn't do it, but I think that's a good conversation to have.
Okay. Did you have any other comments?
That's it.
I have one. There's no sound tonight. Playing on air again. Somebody needs to fix that. Yes.
I just thought of something. We all received emails about it, but this Thursday, National Day of Prayer at Faith Baptist Church, 417 West Central, and they have particularly asked if any city officials could attend at noon if possible.
11 to 1.
Yeah, the whole event is 11 to 1, but anybody city official-wise, if they could be there at noon, they would appreciate it.
Staff have anything? Are you sure?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Brian. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
I heard that sound.
So you're saying this wasn't working?
I think they're whistles.
Sound over the air.
Oh.
I'm thinking it's... That's what I'm guessing. Whistles? Well, you know, I'd like to take